Hey everybody, Kyle Koetsier from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel. It's a little hot out right now. It's about 90 some degrees, so I do have the AC on. My apologies, but I do have my first reaction to the new animated film that opened wide. What is it? Paws of Fury: The Legend of Hank. The reason why I blank on this is because neither title is all that great, but there also was a previous title. I've been following this film for years when it was called Blazing Samurai. And I didn't actually realize that this was that movie until it started. Here's the conceit for this movie, because it's absolutely baffling. Two writers came up with an idea that they were basically going to make a children's version of Blazing Saddles with samurai instead of cowboys. Okay, I'm not against that on the general conceit, but I don't know what's going on with this movie. This was bad. It was really bad. And my biggest problem with it is that, okay, so they're going to make a kid's version of Blazing Saddles, a notoriously not kid-friendly movie at all. A very biting kind of satirical humor. So there's that on the level right there. In fact, this is so much similar to Blazing Saddles that Mel Brooks and the other four writers, including Richard Pryor, are all credited on the screenplay for this film. So the screenplay is so close that they actually had to get a screenwriting credit. There are 7 credited writers on this, but only 2 people actually really contributed. It's just that the screenplay is so close to Blazing Saddles that that's the case. So they made a kid-friendly version of Blazing Saddles, where it's dogs and cats instead of black people and white people. But then I'm also confused because they didn't cast black actors to play the dog. They didn't cast white actors to play the cats as much. So we're losing the general idea, and that's fine if it's not about that. But it's also, again, you're making a kid version of a very, very not kid-friendly movie. And then there's these just weird jokes. Like, there's jokes about, like the bad guys say something along the lines of, like, I miss the good old days where you could kill someone because they didn't look like you. And I'm not sure if it's a joke or if it's meant to be that the bad guy is bad, but it's played for laughs. And it's like a really baffling joke that I don't really understand what use that would have in a kid's movie. There's also a joke about gun violence, about how, like, guns don't kill people, something kills people, and it's played for laughs again. This may not be the right context to put a joke like that in our current political climate around guns. No matter where you sit on the issue, it might be an odd thing to place in a children's movie about them pointing a gun right at somebody's face. It's just, there's baffling decisions like that. Mel Brooks is actually one of the voices in the film. He plays the Shogun, he basically plays the Lepidamine character from Blazing Saddles. Again, he's reprising that role, I guess you could say. So he's in the film, and it feels like it's homaging that, but what are the jokes for? There are multiple jokes played right out of Blazing Saddles, including the new sheriff is a dog instead of the new sheriff is an N-word, which was in the Blazing Saddles film. And it doesn't work really, because when it's kitty down like that, the joke doesn't land. They confuse dog with dong. It's really odd in that way. And you also have references to other Mel Brooks films. Like, there's at one point the bad guy's playing with dolls and acting his treacherous thing, and it's out of Spaceballs. There's the "It's good to be the king" line gets repeated as "It's good to be a shogun" out of History of the World Part 1. And I don't know who's supposed to get those jokes, because they're not playing to kids, those jokes. They'd be playing to the adults. But as far as I can tell, most of the jokes in the film are just watered down version of the adult jokes for Mel Brooks films, but they don't really work for kids, and I can't really tell why you would be basically repeating jokes that most adults who get the reference won't find them funny, because it's just a watered down version of it, and very extreme jokes that used for comedic effect in that film. I'm just completely baffled by this movie. The one thing I will give it props for is there's occasional times when the animation looks really cool. Not always, though. It's not even 100% throughout the film. Some of it looks so cheap. But then some of it has this kind of like cheap 2D played for 3D mixture quality to it that kind of is neat. But yeah, it's very odd. Not to mention, I guess if I were writing the movie, I guess I would place cats as the Bart character, if you will, and dogs as the villains, purely because in the hierarchical society of what we're looking at, dogs are kind of placed above. I don't know anyone who doesn't like dogs. I know a lot of people who don't like cats just because they're cats, which would make sense them playing the Black Bart character because people have an inherent hatred towards them for no apparent reason. Again, like, they make these choices that I just don't understand who it's for, who's supposed to get joy out of it. And I don't get it. I just don't get it. And I racked my brain about this a number of times. There's little jokes in there like Sam Jackson's character says, what in the mother, father, Cocker Spaniel is this? And the joke's not funny for adults. And I don't understand any kid that would get the reference. I just don't know. It's a completely lost movie. And I'm disappointed to say it because I had to sit through it. And for a movie that's 85 minutes, followed up, it opens with a Big Nate short about I don't know much about Big Nate, but there's an ice cream short that's like 10, 15 minutes long. It's probably not that long. It just felt that long. It's a terrible opening short that I think if you don't know who Big Nate is, it's even worse because then you're just kind of figure out, what am I watching? So the short's bad. The movie's bad. It's about 2 hours of completely wasted time, and I'm heartbroken that I had to sit through it, and I'm hoping you'll take my recommendation as a non-recommendation. Do not go see Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank. Spend better time. Watch Blazing Saddles. Maybe not with your kids, but here's the thing, there are better movies for kids to watch than The Legend of Hank. Lightyear's better. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 just recently came out. Just stay at home and rent that. Turning Red, I'm sure is quite good. I would say The Bad Guys is better. I don't even care for The Bad Guys, but it's better. Minions is at least mildly entertaining. This is just a bad movie, and if you're a parent, you will enjoy Mel Brooks movies better when they're not this shoddy attempt at a Mel Brooks movie. I'm just completely aghast at what is going on with this movie. It was terrible. And I tried to maintain interest throughout, and I just kept falling back out of it. And I really struggled to sit through this whole thing. But I did it for you. So don't see this movie. Waste your money on something better, because you can do better. I know you can. But let me know your thoughts down below. If you did see The Legend of Hank, let me know what you thought of it down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. There are 2 things that you can do that don't cost you a dime, but they help to support the channel. Make sure you never miss new episodes as they drop. You can find goatfromreviews.com for my many written reviews. Goat From Reviews on Facebook. You can follow me personally at Almighty Goatman on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And you can catch my show, Kyle and Nick on Film, that I host 3 times a week with Nick Plotachuk from the St. Paul Filmcast. We have Mondays, Thursdays, and Scary Movie Saturdays. What we do is we just break down one of the films in our classic repertoire and see what's ticking in there. So please check out those links down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.